Thank you all for tuning in for today's timely discussion. I'm Congresswoman Lori Trahan, and I'm thrilled to be joined by an incredible panel of guests who have played such pivotal roles in getting our community through the pandemic over the last 18 months. If you've turned on the news in the past week, you know all too well that COVID-19 cases are on the rise, thanks in large part to the spread of the Delta variant. Make no mistake, this threatens to undo the incredible progress we've made since January of this year in defeating this virus and getting working families back on their feet. That's why the conversation we're having today is so important. We know that in order to keep families safe, healthy, and continuing down the road to recovery from this pandemic, keeping a roof over their heads is key. When the federal eviction moratorium expired last weekend, millions of families across the nation, including many here in Massachusetts, were at risk of being evicted from their homes. Now, I would have preferred to stay in Washington over the weekend to get an extension passed through the House and the Senate, but disappointingly, it became quickly obvious that Senate Republicans had zero interest in getting that done. The president's decision to announce a moratorium extension that covered areas with surges of COVID-19 could not have come at a more vital moment for those families living in uncertainty and fear. Now, it's important that all of us work to ensure that those in need of assistance covering their rent and their utility payments know how to access the robust amount of relief available to them right now as we speak. You know, when we passed the American Rescue Plan back in March, we provided another $21.5 billion in emergency rental assistance funding. That's on top of the $25 billion we voted for in the December relief package. Now, of that funding, Massachusetts received more than $436 million so far, which has been working its way into communities and people's pockets through organizations on the front lines of the housing crisis, like Community Teamwork, South Middlesex Opportunity Council, and Resources for Communities and People. An issue we found, however, is that a lot of folks still don't know that this relief exists. And if they do, they don't know how to go about getting it. That's why we're here today, to get the information out to families who need these resources most. And it's why I'm thrilled to be joined by our knowledgeable and experienced guests who have a proven track record of delivering for the communities and the individuals that they serve. So let's get to it. Our first guest isn't new to our virtual discussions, having joined us for a conversation last year on the many resources offered by her organization, Community Teamwork. Connie Martin is the Division Director of CTI's Energy and Community Resources Division, where she oversees a budget of $10 million of federal, state, and private programming funds and implements a wide range, of programs that serve nearly 14,000 people. Like me, she's a product of Lowell Public Schools, and during her career in nonprofit management, she has held positions in several different sectors, including arts and culture, business advocacy, workforce development, and child care programming. So we're so thrilled to have you back, Connie. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so very much. It's wonderful to be here today.
Our second guest is Leslie Lee, the Director of Program Operations at the South Middlesex Opportunity Council, or SMOC for short. Leslie has worked at SMOC for 20 years, many of them in the family shelter system. In her current role, she oversees all single and family shelters like the Housing Consumer Education Center, Voices Against Violence, the Youth Program, and Employment Services. Leslie works on connecting services to make sure that individuals and families receive the resources they need, which is why we're so grateful to have her here today. Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
And finally, our third guest is Lindsay Richmond, the House Consumer Education Center Manager at Resources for Communities and People, or RCAP, where she oversees the organization's housing counseling program, education and training initiatives, and client community relations. Before joining RCAP, Lindsay worked as a case manager at several community nonprofits, including the Housing Assistance Corporation on Cape Cod. Lindsay is a certified homeownership and housing counselor, and we're so glad to have her here for today's discussion. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you. I'm so happy I could be here.
Great. Well, the folks tuning in right now certainly did not tune in to hear me speak. So without any further delay, let's get right to the questions. And the first question is for Connie. I know the community teamwork has already helped about 4,000 households with housing support, whether that's rental and mortgage assistance or eviction prevention services. Can you share with us the keys to a successful application when someone reaches out to you and how they can get in touch to begin that process?
Oh, absolutely. I think that in your opening remarks, you mentioned it too, that for so many people, they're just not aware of how to access these resources. So I think it's been really important for us to make sure that we're getting that information out in as many different ways as we can. I think, key parts of being able to connect are online. We have staff who are working in the office, but we are able to provide all of our services remotely. So directly from our website, which is comteam.org, I know that's going to be shared in the chat, I'm sure multiple times for all our agencies. There is a link that brings people directly to our application. During these really challenging times, I think both at the federal, state, and at the agency level, we've done all we can to really streamline the process. Many different documentation requirements have kind of been put to the side during this really critical time, and it has helped to make the process easier for families and individuals to access. I will say, the absolute key to a successful application is completeness of information. As people go through this application, it's been streamlined, but it's still a process. So going through it carefully, reading all the questions, getting all the documentation uploaded, that's really critically important to making sure that the application comes in as completely as possible. That also includes kind of making those connections with landlords so that they know information is going to be requested of them. They're aware of the process. And that really helps to kind of make sure that all the information is in hand so that when it goes to one of our housing counselors, they're able to go through that process in a very quick way. Clients and for any advocates that we have on the call today, it's important to note that once an application is submitted, people will get an email, usually within 24 hours, acknowledging that it's been accepted, that we have the application. And then they can expect to hear from a staff member probably within 2 to 3 weeks for any follow-up questions, any additional documentation. And again, if things go in a perfect world and we have everything we need, generally we're looking at between 4 to 6 weeks of being able to process. Any wrinkle in that can add time to the process, but we have a great many staff who are doing their best to connect and make sure that we get all of the information processed as quickly as possible. And the only other thing I'd add is that we recognize that there are clients who aren't comfortable and probably will never be comfortable in an all remote kind of all online experience. So again, we'll be including information on how to reach us by phone. We are taking, for emergency cases, we are welcoming clients into the building on an appointment-only basis where they can, in a very traditional way, sit down with the staff person, go through that process of filling out the application, uploading all the documentation so that we can help people in as many different ways as we can.
Great. Well, thank you, Connie. The key is getting that application process started so that you can reduce the amount of time and get the process underway. Leslie, this next one's for you. SMOC has already awarded more than $5.3 million in rental assistance, and you all are averaging an application approval rating well above 80%. What barriers are you all facing right now, and what's your experience been with folks who are coming back again for help?
Sure. Thanks for having me. So just to give a little perspective. So yes, in FY20, we awarded 500,000. FY21, 5.3 mil, and then FY22, we are currently at 1.5 million. So the volume has increased tremendously. So that's one of the challenges, keeping up with the need. So that's been challenging for staff. Also, as Connie said, we went virtual, which is such a different thing for SMOC. Historically, we're a very in-person organization. People come into the building, we meet with them in person, we're able to do workshops, we're able to sit down with people. So that was a learning curve. But we were speaking a little bit before this call that it's not been the worst thing in the world. It was tough at first, but we were able to meet these challenges. We added staff. We were able to bring some more staff on board to help with the challenges of the volume that were coming in. We also went we went digital, which was a new learning curve, but it has helped things. The process of getting applications in, of helping people is much smoother. We're constantly looking at our systems. If we see a bottleneck somewhere, we look at it and we adjust. So it's a year of adjusting so that we can help people. Like Connie said, a lot of the people coming in, people are used to coming into the building. So that was hard for them. So we are trying the best, we're going to be having appointments by appointment only for those who do want to come into the building. We've also helped our staff. They're going through the pandemic just as everyone else does. So, everyone has different places they live, work, childcare issues. So we've tried to help our staff by providing technology. If they needed a laptop, if they needed a smartphone, if they needed a copy machine in their house, just to make things smoother. So that's been really helpful. And we just keep looking at systems to help people. We have seen people come back. People that we've seen people come back for a second time, and we've also seen people that have never applied before. So this pandemic has affected everybody. The people that are coming back for the second time, it's because some of the challenges are still there. COVID-related challenges like daycare, not employment. So besides trying to help with the financial piece, we also try to link people to services. If they need employment services, we have that at SMOC. If they need behavioral health services, we do that as well. So we are adjusting every day. Every day it's a different day. It's never boring, but our goal is to try to get people what they need sooner than later and try to take away some of those barriers that are keeping them from getting assistance.
Well, there's no question organizations like SMOC and RCAP and CTI have provided a lifeline to communities because you do have such an important portfolio of services. So thank you. Lindsay, the next question for you. RCAP is doing really important work right now to help keep families housed and afloat. What are the most important things they need to know as they think about and prepare to apply for rental assistance?
Yes. So one of the most important things to remember is that crises don't discriminate. Now more than ever, we're working with people that have never even thought about asking for help before. And with that, they just need direction on where to even begin. We always recommend that if you find yourself in a situation where you think you might be late on your next month's mortgage or even rent, you reach out and see what kind of assistance you may qualify for. As Connie said, the best thing that someone needs to do is ensure that they submit a complete application. The chasing documents like an ID or an income, something that you so easily could have brought with you to your appointments to fill out those applications is definitely crucial. And we understand that there are a lot of landlords out there that don't want to work with RAAs. And in that event that we meet a landlord that doesn't, we can make referrals to appropriate mediation centers. But under certain circumstances, our funders have allowed us to pay the tenants directly. That comes with the understanding that the tenants are going to pay the landlord within 30 days and receive a receipt of payment back to the RAAs. And if anyone is uncertain, please reach out. We have specialists on the phones all day that can help you determine where to apply, what to apply for, and can even sit down with you, whether it be in person or over the phone, and help you complete that application. We get a lot of applications that are missing documents or just missing pages, sections, and that's going to slow everything down. And we want to get this assistance out to as many people as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Lindsay. Now, I think it's important, that those turning in understand that what the president's eviction moratorium means for them here in Massachusetts. And I can't think of a group better prepared to answer that question than all of you. So would each of you just mind taking a minute to speak to the importance of the extension, but also what it means for the work of your respective organizations in the weeks ahead? And let's just go in the same order, if that's all right. We'll start with Connie.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I think that the president's move to extend the moratorium really was a recognition of the facts on the ground. I think that the certainly from the federal government here in Massachusetts and the Commonwealth, there is a recognition that the impact of the pandemic on people's housing stability has been deep and profound, and that it hasn't been something that has been able to be resolved in a quick way. So I think, offering that, putting in place the additional 2 months at this point, I think it does take the immediate pressure. I think for families who are, had their court dates already scheduled and who are quite honestly in panic mode about where their families are going to be sleeping in the near future. It did take that away, thank goodness. But from an agency perspective for us, it did, show us that we can continue the work that we're doing, recognizing that this is not an overnight process. It is something that takes time. And I think that, when we talk about kind of the scope of services that we're providing right now, in past years prior to the pandemic, our agency processed $3.5 million. That was our typical rental assistance fund. We now do that in a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is the scope of this is really obviously very dramatic. And it is a process that requires time to be done efficiently and effectively, so that having the moratorium does allow us that the time is what we fight against. And that has allowed us that some additional time to be able to work with families, get them through the process, get landlords, the payments that they require, and be able to make the entire situation kind of help stabilize that situation across the board.
Thank you. Okay, Leslie, anything to add?
Well, Connie, you said that perfectly, but I will say what else can I add? The extension is important. It's so important because it gives a person the chance to stay in their home. Mm-hmm. And when you can stay in your home, doesn't mean your issues are gone, but it means that you have a place to be and then work on your issues. SMOC's motto is housing first, and we believe in that. We just believe in that with everything because, people need to have a safe place to live. Okay. I work in the shelter system as well, and sometimes that it's an option that has to be, but it's not the best option. So having this chance to have people stay in their homes, because all the other things that went with this pandemic, the mental health, the domestic violence, the children not in school, people are dealing with that as well. So then to have to deal with, I'm getting evicted is just, it's horrible. So I just feel this was I can't even say how wonderful this is that we have this time to work with families and individuals. It is a crisis, yes, but it's not a crisis that you're getting evicted tomorrow. We're able to work with people. And as Connie said, this takes time. This is not just a one and done. You get the financial assistance and then you don't, that's it. No, people are coming back and they're still struggling. So, this is something that we're very happy about as an organization. And as far as it having impact on the organization, the people that work here, I think that we're really trying to give the message to the people that work here, like, this is nothing that we've seen before, and you're part of it. You're part of helping people. And that sounds like but I actually can't take credit. I heard someone else that works at one of the other agencies say this, and I was like, oh, I love that. I'm totally stealing that to talk to the staff about, because there's a lot of pressure. And like we were just saying, oh my goodness, it's Friday, I'm so tired. But we just keep saying, think about people that are really, they're afraid of losing their home. So I think it gives meaning to the work that we do, meaning like it never has before. So, it keeps me going on a day to day. So yes, we're very happy that President Biden extended this. It's very important for everybody.
No, great point. Time is the central issue. But, your organization's picking up the phone every, second of the day truly is what's making the difference in people's lives. Lindsay, I'm sure you've got something to add as well.
It's basically all been covered, but there's always something else to add. I think, having adequate housing is a basic human right, and so many are without or about to be without. So this gives our fabulous HCEC and RAF teams chance to work with these people. It gives us the opportunity to reach out to them. We get so many clients that are like, I didn't even know these protections existed for us. For those that are worried about imminent evictions and not being able to pay the current month's rents, they now have ample time to get these completed applications in and potentially resolve these crises before the moratorium ends. And like I had previously said, we can also make referrals to mediation centers to potentially stop it going to all the way to court, any issues that may arise between property owners and tenants. It's been definitely a really trying year and a half for everyone. And the last thing we want is our neighbors to be homeless or struggling to pay their mortgage, their rent. It's one of RCAP's top priorities to stabilize our community before it reaches the court, with the knowledge, the community having that knowledge that if the court does so rule that you do need to leave your home, that we are here to help you get rehoused, whether it be just looking for the housing. We all know that the rental inventory just isn't there right now. And so many are worried about being able to actually find something, and then worried about how they're going to afford those, startup costs, the first, last, and security. Not a lot of the clients we work with have, $15,000 to put in those upfront costs, and we're here to alleviate that stress. No one wants to feel rushed, so having these extra 2 months is great for our clients and gives us the time to work with them.
Absolutely. And it gives us a chance to distribute these resources that it is all about, making those connections so that people know where to access that important relief. So I do want to be respectful of your time, which you've been so generous with to join us and share your wisdom and your expertise. So with the few minutes we have left, I do want to turn it over to each of you to describe what your organizations are doing right now to help folks in the communities you serve, the services you offer, how folks can get in touch with you to access those resources that we've been able to talk about today. So Connie, do you want to take that one first?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I think what's been really inspiring during what has been a never before seen kind of challenging time, I've been really, particularly having worked in community action for a good number of years, to see the response that community action agencies, certainly across the Commonwealth, have been part of the pandemic response, I think, in a really profound way. For us at Community Teamwork, we're both a community action agency, we are a regional housing agency, also a CDC, but we include a lot of different programming, and it's always been kind of the kind of foundational tenet that as families, as individuals come to Community Teamwork, we work with them in a very holistic way, wanting to ensure that we're making the connections across the board. Mm-hmm. So in terms of, the pandemic response, it's included things like keeping our child care open to the best of our ability during this entire process. It's included, our traditional programming of Section 8 and fuel assistance and all those, all the kind of standard programs that we offer. And I think it's also included providing for clients as they are working to get back into the workforce, support through secure jobs, through our financial education work. It really has been a matter of, as much as we can, and this is where the remote kind of reality can get a little challenging, but we have really continued to work to ensure that we're connecting with families and individuals across all the different areas, so that you really are able to provide that kind of network of support with a number of different programs. The ways to get in touch, certainly our website, which I mentioned before, is a great way to kind of get a sense of the scope of the agency. We have people who are in the office actively answering phones at 978-459-0551. And I think that those are kind of the key ways to connect with all of the programming here at Community.
Great. Okay, Leslie.
Yes, well, again, Connie, you covered a lot, but same approach, holistic. So SMOC is a multi-service agency as well. Some of our services include fuel assistance, Section 8, Voices Against Violence, WIC, employment services, shelter for families and individuals in all areas, Metro West, Lowell, Worcester, yes, everywhere. Recovery services. And so that's our goal as well, is that when someone contacts us for financial services, we can connect them to other services that they may need. We've also hosted community discussions. So we've had different departments come on with the community so we can get that out there. And we always include our financial assistance because everyone is thinking about that at this time. But it also gives the other programs that we offer. So anytime someone goes out from the agency to do some kind of presentation, they bring everybody along with them as far as their flyers and contacts. So everyone is aware of what we have. And the same thing, the Housing Consumer Education Center, it has been spotlighted like no other time, but they're a great resource. And they not only help with financial assistance, but they help with, budgeting classes, and they connect people with employment services. So it's a great program that people can, if they need something, we can find something for you. We will give you an answer. Our motto is, do not let someone leave without some kind of answer or referral. So that is our goal. And, I think that the best way to get a hold of us is definitely our SMOC website. It has all our programs, all our contacts. I believe that it's going to be in the chat, our HCEC, the way to contact us. And we also have people answering the phones as well. We have a hotline that people can talk to somebody. So and we're just, we just keep adjusting and moving and trying to help people the best that we can. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Okay, Lindsay, bring us home.
All right. We've kind of changed and adjusted. We've gone with the flow just like everybody else. We're doing phone and virtual appointments for people that cannot or do not want to come in and see us. We have people texting us their documents because they have no other way to get them to us. And we're just kind of like, whatever we need to do to get you the help you need, we're going to do that. Definitely the best way to contact us is by phone or email or right on our RCAP website. Anybody can call our 978-630-6772 number and speak with a specialist and get pointed in the right direction. We've already issued between June of last year and July of this year, 16.4 million in payments. We've helped so many families, and like everybody else has said, people are coming back for more additional assistance because their situation just isn't improving as quickly as we'd like to see it. But in addition to our application assistance, like I had mentioned before, we're here to help with housing search, everything from just pointing you in the right direction to finding units, talking to landlords, anything that the client needs. We're definitely here to meet them where they're at. For anybody that wants to get out of the rental market and forge towards the path of homeownership, we also offer first-time home buyers education and counseling, and we can meet with clients one-on-one and review their specific situations. We've had plenty of clients come to us and say, I'm sick of the rental market. What are my options? And people who think they would never be able to own their own home, we're finding that they can, and there's programs out there to help people of all income levels and different things. In addition to that, we, like other HCECs, we offer credit counseling, budgeting, financial capabilities, workshops, anything to let the client set their best foot forward. I always recommend that our clients sit down and meet with us and determine what their needs are, and we can together divulge a plan to get them to their goals as efficiently as possible.
Great. So that is tremendous. And, look, I've worked with our HCCs and our community action agencies over the better half of these 18 months more intensely than our office has ever worked with before. But you really are doing amazing work around the clock to help people who, need it the most, and people who never thought they'd even find themselves calling your office. So thank you for that. I promised we'd be respectful of your schedules, and you've already been so great with your time, but that's sadly all the time that we have for this afternoon. But I just want to say once again, thank you to the three of you, our incredible guests, for sharing your expertise with us. And of course, to each of you tuning in for staying informed. We've heard a lot during this conversation about the resources available to individuals and families across the 3rd District who are worried about how to cover that next rent or utility payment. So please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out to these folks for help. We've included links directly to their respective websites where you can reach out, so you or anyone you know who may be eligible can get in touch. We're all in this together. And as we continue to come together as a community and a Commonwealth to combat these variants, we need to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. And that starts with keeping people housed and fed, but it also means doing everything we can to keep ourselves and our loved ones healthy and safe. So please, if you have not already, go get vaccinated. We know the Delta variant is serious, and the toll it's taking on unvaccinated folks across the nation is devastating to watch. If you head to vaxfinder.mass.gov, right now you can get vaccinated right down the street from where you are right now with no charge at all. This is for your safety, it's for the health of your families, and it's the fastest method to putting this pandemic behind us. So thank you all again for tuning in this afternoon. Thank you again to our incredible guests. I look forward to seeing you all again in person very soon. And stay safe, everyone. And please, please go get your vaccine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.